today our emphasis is covering vocabulary. So it's not going to be a traditional project day, but it will be covering a lot of information that we'll be using in classes coming up. So elements of art, there are 6 of them that I'm going to briefly cover and just kind of review with you today so that you kind of get that in your mind of what they are. They are just the basics of any kind of art that you could find. So if I found this picture by Picasso and I'm looking at it and breaking it apart using the elements, I'm going to use I'm going to see his strong use of curvy lines. I also see diagonal lines, and I also see that he's using color. And combining those 2 elements, he's created a strong composition for this painting. So let's go ahead and get started. You will need paper, pencil, pair of scissors, and markers, or whatever you have to color with. Go ahead and get those and let's get going. Okay, with that paper that you just got, we're going to fold it to help us give us some guidelines. So go ahead and take your paper, fold it like we say hot dog style, so vertically. Once you have that folded vertically, we're going to turn it, and I'll move this paper so you can see it better. We'll fold that in half. Okay. And then from this point, we're going to fold it in half again. Okay. And then once you have it like this, go ahead and open it up. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on these 3 rectangles right here. So I'm going to go ahead and fold those. And I'm going to leave this top part flapped open because that's going to be my title. Okay, this bottom rectangle right here, all I'm going to do is just fold it one more time. So I'm taking the bottom rectangle only, leaving the top one alone. And you can rewind it if you didn't see that, and you can see what I did if you're watch it over again if you don't quite understand what I did there. So I'm going to go ahead and double that one over. Now I'm going to open it up. This is what you should see. You should see the title box, and then you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 separate boxes underneath. We're going to take our scissors, and now what we're going to do is we're going to just take the top flap only, and we're going to put a little line. So we're cutting in, we're going to create little doors that you can write information about those things underneath. So let's take the first one, and I'm just going to turn it so it's easier to cut. Cut in. Cut in. Alright, so I have my little doors, my flaps, so that I can put my words here now, so I can go ahead and start talking or labeling them. So the top one, again, doesn't matter what color you use, you're just going to write in the top title box the elements of art. Okay, so that will be the first thing. Let's go ahead and label all our other boxes just so that we can go through them rather quickly here in a little bit. So first one will be line. So we have line, shape, form, color, texture, space. First off, let's go ahead and define what the elements of art are. And I'm not going to do long definitions here. I just want you to remember the basics of what we're talking about. So the elements of art are the basic building blocks for art. Okay, so we have line as a building block, shape, form, and if you use these and combine them, then you're going to create an artwork. So let's talk about the first one. Let's look at an example of line. This is a Navajo rug, and you can see right away There are two distinct line patterns that this artist has tried to incorporate into the rug. You have the zigzag pattern, and then you have the use of horizontal lines to create stripes. So his main idea was line, and then he used color as well. But this is a great example of somebody focusing on line within their artwork. So let's look at some different kinds of lines that I want you to remember in the course. First one would be the zigzag, since we just talked about that. So I'm going to just do some zigzag lines here. Okay. And then the next one would be a vertical line. So those are lines that go straight up and down. And then you'd have a horizontal line. Those are lines that lie down on the ground. Okay. Then you have lines that are diagonal. They kind of look like they're falling. And then you have lines that might be curvy, okay, or wavy. We'll just focus on those. There are lots of different types of lines, but I want you to just kind of remember these 5 basic lines. I think I might actually have 6 there. Okay, next one will be shape. For shape, we're going to focus on 2 different types of shape. We have shape that would be geometric, like in this Georgia O'Keeffe painting. She's blocked things out into rectangles and squares, and you can see a nice almost triangular shape that she's working on here. But this is a very geometrically composed composition. This one would be organic, so it's just kind of squigglies. Even the circles aren't perfect. So organic shapes would be shapes we find in nature, like leaves and bugs and insects. All those things are organically shaped, and this is more man-made, which would be a geometric shape. So let's just do a couple examples of those in our flap. Okay, so the first one right here, let's do geometric on this side. Squares, triangles, perfect circles, rectangles. Okay, then on the other side, organic, those are going to be our just kind of amoeba-like or leaf shapes or heart shape. Okay, this is going to be your organic side. Now, if you're not going to be able to remember that vocabulary, you might want to just write geometric. I'm using my pencil because the marker's too thick to write it. And this is organic. Okay. So we have line and shape. Let's go on to the next one. This next one would be form. This is Dale Chihuly, and he creates blown glass artworks. You can see that it's just a form. It's 3-dimensional. You could actually go up, you could touch it, you could hold parts of his glass sculpture in your hands. So when you think of form, you want to think of things that are 3-dimensional or look like they're 3-dimensional. So when we say form, I'm going to put a big 3D down here, and let's draw just some 3-dimensional objects so that you can remember. So like if you can draw a cube or a pyramid or a cone or a cylinder, those would all be 3-dimensional forms. You could take it to another level. You could draw like a house. Okay, so that would be a form. So shape is flat. We're going to call that 2D. And form is 3D. So you should be able to see the difference between the two. Shape, when I talk about shape, I'm talking about the flat objects. I'm talking about forms, I'm looking at the depth.